you are proving exactly what I've been talking about. This is a classic example of how this bullshit has worked its way to become the truth about the Clintons. They lost money on Whitewater.
I'm not talking about Bill at all. I mean, I'm just separating.
No, we're talking about
completely.
Whitewater.
Okay. Well,
you brought that up as an example.
Right. I also brought up the guy that she got the job for in the State Department. And you're never going to tell me that 100% of those erased email were all about yoga and her daughter's wedding plans.
Well, are you going to tell me they were?
I don't know, but I just don't believe
it.
I don't believe her.
Nobody knows.
I don't believe her.
Why not? When did she lie?
I don't believe her because I've met her and I've seen her facial expressions and I was in on that conversation.
I didn't realize you were a forensic psychologist.
No. You don't have to have a psychology degree, which I do, but you don't have to have a psychology degree to be able to look at someone in a room and watch them on stage with the smiling and the politicians, all of that stuff, and you're going, God, this woman's on the ball. Go, Hillary, we love you. She gets off the stage. She starts cussing somebody out as she's walking down the stairs, sits down next to the original co-founder of Air America Radio, and won't talk to the woman and actually snubs her when they're trying to have a conversation.
What in the
You don't remember.
hell?
You have no memory
What
for
in
these
the
things.
hell? Of course I remember that. What in the hell does that have to do with the unending attacks on Hillary
Nothing.
Clinton?
Except
Well, then why
that
do you bring it up?
I don't believe her.
Okay.
She is
Okay.
not. And I am a thinking American person. I have not been influenced by the mainstream media to think that she's untrustworthy.
The hell you have.
Oh, no. I have
Kathy,
done my own research.
This is just
and I've met the woman face to face. And you and I know we have a friend who lives 2 miles from here whose daughter worked for her in the State Department.
and never said an evil word about her.
That's not true.
What did she say?
She said she was cold as hell.
Oh, God damn! She was cold. Oh, well, there you go. I give up. You win. She was cold. Oh my God.
I don't trust her.
Okay, don't trust her. Look, Kathy, I'm not saying vote for her to anybody.
Good.
And I'm not going to.
Good.
This whole point, and I brought this up last week, is because I am sick of this predatory media that just wants to bite her until there's no goddamn meat left on her bones. I'm sick of it.
Why?
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 Because it's opening the door to a fascist son of a bitch who is going to. You'll find out what he's going to do.
Okay.
That's why.
I disagree. I think the fascist son of a bitch, if he happens to make it into the White House, which I don't think the odds are good, but there's probably a flicker of a chance that he would get elected, I think that's the short road to revolution at this point. Hell of a lot faster road to revolution than with Hillary in there, where we just go, oh God, all right, disappointed again. Well, maybe someone like Bernie will come around another time. That won't be the attitude of Trump's president or dictator for life or whatever he decides to be. I think there would be boots on the ground. I think there would be.
88 of the country's leading military officers stated yesterday they support Donald Trump. Are you shitting me? What revolution are you talking about?
88 out of how many?
I've never advocated.
88 out of 800?
I've never advocated violent revolution. I've advocated passive revolution, like Dr. King style. You put 3, 4, 10, 20 million people in the street and just have them sit down.
Okay.
What you're talking about with Trump is violent revolution.
Do you think either would happen with Hillary? Do you think we'd have a passive or aggressive revolution if Hillary were in the White House?
We didn't have it when Bush was in the White House. Why would we have it with Clinton?
We wouldn't have it.
Because the American people like goddamn sheep.
Exactly.
Well, then maybe
you need to put the wolf in there to scare the sheep out of their passivity.
Kathy,
that's my thought.
Okay.
I would vote for Trump before I would vote for Hillary. I'm voting for Dr. Jill Stein, but I would vote for Trump before I would vote for Hillary. I think she's more dangerous because she's the less obvious threat. Trump is an obvious threat. Hillary is sneaky. I don't trust her. I don't care if I can't provide you with detailed bullet points of
So you're
crimes
making
that
you're
she's
making you're
committed.
making the whole case that I've been trying to make. And I want to say this, and then I want to move on because this is bullshit. You're making the case I've been making that everything about Clinton, you have no proof. All you have is innuendo. You don't like her because she's sneaky. What the hell does sneaky mean? You don't like her because she's cold. Because a friend of ours who worked for her said she's cold. All this shit you're coming up with, Kathy, you have not yet come up with one thing that said, well, Mike, the reason I oppose her is because she has stated categorically that when she's president, she is going to stomp the shit out of Russia. Now, if you can come up with something even remotely like that.
Well, I don't agree with any of her foreign policy decisions
what
either.
are they?
Well, I don't like her militaristic attitude toward the Middle East.
That's an attitude.
I don't like her imperialism. I don't like her warmongering. I don't like that she voted.
You
that she
haven't
twice
liked any
authorized
president that we've had since Theodore Roosevelt. Because they've all been that way.
I don't think Carter was that way.
You don't think Carter was that way?
Do you think Carter was a warmonger?
I think Carter followed American foreign policy exactly the way that every president before him and subsequent to him has done. Did Carter get us into a shooting war? No. What we were doing was arming the, what did they call them back then? The Mujahideen in Afghanistan. That was Carter, Kathy.
And you know what else was Carter?
And as a result of that, we now have ISIS.
Anwar Sadat sitting down with Menachem Begin.
Oh,
that was also Carter.
How's that working out?
Well, it was an attempt. It was a first attempt.
Oh, okay. What's it? That's not the question you asked me. You asked me about Carter being a warmonger, and I said, you're goddamn right. You can see Brzezinski's daughter every morning on MSNBC. Zbigniew Brzezinski, who came up along with Kissinger, the plan to completely destroy the Soviet Union. And Carter was in on it. It was Carter's policy.
So
you ever heard of the Carter Doctrine?
You wouldn't vote for Jimmy Carter if he were around today.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
He'd be off your list.
That's not the point. The point is, I said, name me a president who's not been an imperialist since Theodore Roosevelt, and you give me Carter? Come on.
Yes.
Well, that shows something about you, not about Carter.
I'm not voting for Hillary.
I know you're not, and neither am I.
And I would like you not to defend her because it makes me twitchy.
I'm not defending her. I am going after the rapacious bastards, the media and the right wing, who continue to peck and peck and peck at her with nothing. Nothing. I'm sick of it. That's what I said an hour and a half ago.
So do you
I am
think
sick of this.
Do you think that the right-wing media wants a President Trump because it would be a nonstop ratings bonanza? I mean, is that your
well,
thought?
that's what the media wants. Well, Kathy, what's the expression? If it bleeds, it leads. What do you think they want? Do you think media wants a nice, quiet little president who says, well, let's have everybody over for dinner? That's not what they want. They want war.
They're not going to get that either way.
You remember CNN and MSNBC during the last 3 Middle East wars we've had?
Oh, yeah.
They branded war.
Yeah.
They came up with a soundtrack for it. That's what media wants. They don't want Clinton. They want this crazy son of a bitch Trump, because that will give them all the blood and gore and death and destruction they can possibly handle.
You don't think she would either?
I don't know what she would do. He has said he will. This is not bullshit coming from some left-wing organization. This comes out of his mouth.
Okay, but as you said, he also has zero political record. We have no idea when it comes down to it. We can't look at Trump's past and
Hitler
say,
didn't have political record either.
Okay, well, based on his previous decisions, we have a track record with Hillary.
Oh, yeah? What?
We have votes that she took on whether or not to authorize use of military force. We have votes we have her testimony on Benghazi. We have her standing up and defending on the floor of the Senate when she was still a senator the idea of sending more troops to Iraq. You know, we have, and as Secretary of State, we have every decision she made. Are you telling me you don't think Hillary's a warmonger? Really? Really? You don't think that woman...
Not any more or less than every president we've had up until this very moment.
Well,
including
even her
Obama.
husband,
Obama is an assassin.
even her husband, even Bill, at least nobody died while he was
Oh,
president.
bullshit. No American died. There were thousands of Middle Europeans who were blown to fucking pieces because of you remember?
You're about
Don't you
Kosovo?
remember?
Are you gonna talk
when
about
I stood
Kosovo?
up and came in defense in Chicago of the Serbs? Do you
Yes.
remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember the FBI and the SS taking goddamn movies of me?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember our phones being tapped?
That
Do you
was-
remember?
that was
Okay,
kinda fun.
don't tell me Clinton. Yeah, no American service member died, but there were hundreds, if not thousands, of Middle European people, first time since World War II, who were blown to pieces. Not just by Clinton and the U.S. military, but certainly they accounted for a percentage of the deaths. Now, who else you want to name?
No, I'm just saying I don't think that her husband was as warmongering as she is.
Well, let me just ask you, if you don't mind, what? And I'm looking for information. I'm not challenging you here. I'm just asking a straight-up question. What has she said or done that would imply to you that she's a warmonger? That means a war lover. What has she done?
Just the way that she authorized use of force and continued every Senate vote that there ever was on whether or not, she was on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and I would watch those C-SPAN hearings, and you could tell from the lines of questioning when she was questioning the generals or questioning whoever was coming up before her in those committee hearings mostly on continued use of force or withdrawal, troop withdrawal, or shutting down Gitmo or whatever, that you could tell by her line of questioning, and then you could tell by her votes in the Senate that she had absolutely no problem committing endless American troops to foreign wars.
Okay, Kathy, there's never been, that I'm aware of, a vote by the House or the Senate to withdraw troops. That's up to the commander-in-chief, which happens to be the president. As far as the vote that hundreds of senators and representatives voted for the invasion, the war crimes of Iraq, did Clinton vote for that? Yes, she did. Now, what do? Do we say that that's because she's a warmonger, or do we say that's because the information provided to her, just like the information provided to goddamn near everybody in the country, was that Saddam Hussein was about to drop nuclear bombs on the United States or release poison gas or all kinds of bacteria? I am not defending Clinton, but this constant attack on her by this fucked up media and the right-wing devils in this country almost puts me in the position where it feels like, to me, that I have to. That's all I've been saying.
Did Bernie Sanders have access to the same information the other senators did?
No, but he's a democratic socialist. He would never vote for war unless the United States was upfront attacked, just like libertarians. Ron Paul wouldn't have voted for it either.
I'd vote for Ron Paul before I would vote for Hillary Clinton. I'd damn sure vote for Bernie Sanders. I'd vote for Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
I'd vote for anybody.
I know.
Pretty much.
Well, okay.
Other than Hillary Clinton.
Okay. Well, that's fine. And I'm not going to vote for her either. I keep saying that over and over again.
Okay.
You make it sound like I'm a Clinton supporter.
You kind of made it sound like
No,
you're a Clinton supporter.
Well, to somebody that's not paying attention.
Oh, I'm paying attention.
No, you're not, because I said over and over and over again. Where were you 8 years ago when you were producing this program and every goddamn night I attacked her record?
Exactly.
And how many listeners did we lose? How many women sent us emails that said, fuck you, you misogynist pig? Okay? So don't call me a Clinton supporter ever. I am not supporting her. I am going after the people who are biting her to death. There's no reason for that. They can do what I did. They can go after her record, not the innuendo, not the bullshit. That's all I've been saying tonight and ever since it started. Okay?
Okay. Did Molly say she wanted honey bunches of oats for breakfast,
She
or
did.
did she want eggs?
No, she wanted honey
Cereal?
bunches of- yeah.
Okay.